All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, you already know what time it is, and right here, right now, we are actually live in full effect, and we got the one and only, the legendary multi-platinum producer. We got the one and only MouseQuake right here, live on the line, man. How are you doing this evening?
What's up, Playboy? How y'all doing up there in the dot, bro?
Hey, man, I'm doing best as I can possibly be, man. I'm just getting back to normal life, man. I love it, man. The mask just came off a couple days ago. The sun's shining. The snow is melting. I'm telling you, man, it feels great to breathe in that fresh spring air, man. It feels like a long time coming.
Yeah, man, me and my wife just came back from being outside. It was a great thing.
I have to ask, man, how's the COVID stuff actually on your end, man? Is everything kind of getting back to normal out there in the States as well, or do they still have the mask protocols going on?
Well, a lot of places have the mask protocols. It depends on where you're going. But, it is what it is, man. You either going to protect yourself or die by yourself. So I'd rather protect myself.
What originally made you decide to get into the music industry initially?
Well, man, as a kid, I always was fascinated on beating on stuff. And I had an Uncle David who played keys for Sammy Davis Jr., and he bought me a drum set when I was about 6. And he told me to learn to play the drum set because, ironically, my grandmother had bought me one when I was 3. So I played the drums, and then when I was in 6th grade, I played at a jazz concert, and I felt how that crowd was, and that was it. That was it. That's all I wanted to do for the rest of my life was make music.
And at a young age, man, did you get the opportunity to meet Sammy Davis, or did you just, of course, know someone that actually worked with him? Did you ever get a chance to actually meet him?
I would be lying and say if I knew. I was a little kid, and I was around my uncle a lot, but I don't remember ever meeting Sammy Davis Jr. That would have been fly.
I gotta say, man, that definitely would have been a phenomenal story to go back to school as a young boy and be like, yo, what did you do this weekend? Hey, I met Sammy Davis Jr., it definitely would be a phenomenal story.
Yeah, it would have been, man. It would have been fly.
But also as well, man, you actually had the opportunity to actually work alongside legendary New York hip-hop artist Nas, man. I was wondering, how did yourself and Nas get connected? And of course, what was it like just being in the studio for that recording session with him?
Well, what's really funny is I never even got a chance to be physically in the room. We did a lot of FaceTime stuff because, back then we wasn't really traveling a whole lot. And how I got in was I was mixing the Long Live the Pimp C project, the last one, with legendary producer Mr. Lee. And we had a song called Friends, and we had Juicy J, Bun B, and Pimp on it. And one day, Mr. Lee texted me at 1:30 in the morning and said, check your email. We got a verse from Nas. I was like, what? So we just put the song together, got it back to where it's supposed to be. We all got on a big FaceTime. He chopped it up with us. He said, I like that. Leave it like that. And that was it.
And also going into the Pimp C stuff there for a moment, because I actually remember you actually did that project, and if I'm not mistaken, it came out around December of 2015. I have to say, man, how did you originally land that gig there on Pimp C's posthumous release, man? Because that album was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, man. It all stemmed from a friendship I had with Mr. Lee. The weekend before, me and my wife was laying in the bed looking at Pimp C videos, laughing. And then the following week, I had a little disagreement at the studio I was at, and I just left. And that day, Mr. Lee called me and asked me to come help him mix the Pimp C record. But he didn't tell me it was Pimp C until I got to his house. He said, let's go upstairs in the studio, blah, blah, blah. He just hit the space bar, and Pimp C came screaming out with his trademark sound, smoke something, I was like, So I stopped and said, yo, man, is this Pimp C? He was like, yeah, man, I need you to help me mix this album. So it took us about a year to get the album done. I think it was about 11 months before we got the album done.
And I have to ask as well, did you guys actually have a lot of creative freedom with that record? Because, of course, his vocals were already recorded, of course, because it's a posthumous release. Was his estate kind of telling you how they want it, or did they just kind of be like, you know what, here's the vocals, here's the beats, mix it how you want, do what you guys do best? Or do they really have their hand and their say within that project?
No, actually, it was put out by Mass Appeal, who is partially owned by Nas, and they just gave us autonomy, man. They gave us the vocals, and we created the beats right there on the spot half of the time, and we just put them together. The only time we didn't have a beat that was already done was we had got some stuff mixed by Ali and Dolla $, the It Ain't song, and a couple of Juicy J records. But outside of that, we had a complete autonomy. We did like 10 of the 15 records at Lee Studio at iMix.
And I have to ask as well, because I'm pretty sure a lot of the Pimp C fans that are listening to this interview and this broadcast right now, they're probably thinking the same thing. Since you were one of the individuals to work on one of his very last projects, is there any actually leftover material from that project that you think that we actually might hear, in the coming years?
Well, I know we had about 30 songs for the project. And it's probably about maybe 10 or 15 songs left out there somewhere. Some of them we couldn't get cleared due to artist commitments with record labels. Like we had some stuff with Snoop and an LL song, and I think we had a Busta Rhymes record too we couldn't release.
I gotta say, man, Pimp C and LL Cool J together, man, I can only imagine how amazing that would sound.
I can tell you it was amazing. It was amazing.
I gotta say, you definitely heard that song, and I gotta say, sitting here, I'm definitely jealous, man. But you know what? You definitely put together a phenomenal Pimp C record, man. I guarantee you, when the finished product got rolled out on them shelves, Pimp C was definitely up there looking down, happy with what you guys did, because that was a phenomenal project, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, thanks, man. His wife loved it, so we were winning.
And also as well, man, in the year 2014, you actually released my personal favorite album that you did, which is actually Fresh Sense Man 66. I was wondering if you can actually tell our listeners a bit more about this particular project. And of course, is it still available on the internet to be streamed or purchased today?
Okay, well, yeah, it's still available. It's on my Bandcamp, MS MouseQuake, the Bandcamp. And what happened was, man, I had been working on so many other projects, and in between, the meantime, I was doing music. I'm a classically trained musician, so I play keys, drums, and a little guitar. So I was like, well, I think I want to do a project, but I want to try to do one in 30 days. So what I did was I made 30 songs, and after every song, I would call somebody in to either rap or sing over it. And I planned to do it for this. I want to get it done in exactly 30 days, and I actually finished it in 27. So I would get the song, mix it, put it to the side. Get another song, mix it, put it to the side. And by the time I got to up to 19, I was busted. So I mastered it, and then I put it out.
And I gotta say, the one song that I really enjoyed off that project is actually "No Lovin'." I believe that was featuring Shoes McGee.
Shoes McGee, yeah.
I gotta say, definitely a phenomenal track, man. Honestly, out of the whole record, it's definitely hard for myself to choose a favorite. But if I have to say, definitely you and Shoes, man, have such phenomenal chemistry.
Yeah, Shoes' first 2 studio sessions with me, I kicked him out of one because he wasn't actually putting songs together. So I said, look, come out, let me give you some homework, go study these 3 artists, and when you come back, I'll give you your hours back. And that's when we did the No Lovin' song.
I gotta say, sometimes individuals just need that kind of that uplift, to get them going, man. And I gotta say that you, by the sounds of it, you definitely gave that to him.
Oh yeah, Shoes is a bad man. He's a real bad man. He's a very phenomenal, talented guy.
And I have to ask, when we're actually on the topic of Shoes, do both of you guys actually have any projects currently in the works together?
Well, Shoes has a project right now. He dropped a live album. I think it was last week. He dropped a live album. Him doing some of his most requested songs with a live band. And also, I think he has an album. He's in the works with. I know I'm working on a couple of tracks with him that he's working on another album to do. with some great producers on. Guy Javon Angel, be looking out for him. That kid is nice, and a couple of other guys. But you know, we got one song that's gonna shock the world when it comes out there.
And also,
I'll have to send it to you on the down low.
Hey, most definitely. If you send it, I'm definitely gonna check it out, man. You already know.
Yeah, I'll send it to you today.
And as well, going down south here for a minute, man. You also had the opportunity to work alongside legendary Bun B. I was wondering, how did yourself and Bun originally get connected? And of course, what was it like just being able to work alongside such a Southern legend like him?
Well, I actually worked on some Bun B records via Mr. Lee again, because you know Lee's the king of the South down there in Houston in the production side. We did some stuff on the Pimp C record, but you know that was like 2015. Then recently, he was on a track with Rakim Al-Jabbar, and that was the most recent one that he was on. And I just kind of stumbled upon that one because I worked closely with Rakim Al-Jabbar on his projects. And he said, hey, man, we got a Bun B record you want to do. I said, oh, yeah, well, where is it? And he sent it over, and that's where it came from. And then we went down to Houston, shot a video, all hung out. It was cool.
And also as well, back in the year 2001, I actually saw a photo on your Instagram where you actually had the opportunity to visit the Late Show with David Letterman, where it was actually the Saturday before 9/11. I was wondering if you could actually tell our listeners a bit more about that. And of course, were you actually there in New York City on that fateful day of 9/11/2001?
That's kind of interesting. I was still in the United States Air Force at the time. And I'm from Newark, New Jersey, but the people who were in my unit that were with me had never been to New York. So we took a weekend, and we went over to New York. We went to Letterman's show, and that was Saturday. Then something happened, and they made us fly back to Texas, where we were stationed at, on Monday morning. The Tuesday morning is when they did the 9/11 thing. And if we'd stayed one more day, we'd have been locked in New Jersey for about 2 years. So it was tough. And, you know, there's a picture floating around of us standing on the top of the Empire State Building, pointing at the Twin Towers with a picture. We're all standing in the picture. It's wild, man.
It's definitely crazy how literally one day can truly change an entire like decade, man. You know, I remember when 9/11 happened, man. You know, even down here in Canada, we actually had the smoke travel so far that it actually landed across the water here in Canada, man. It was definitely insane.
Yeah, man, that was a crazy time, man. That was a crazy time.
But I do got to say, I'm glad you guys actually made it back to Texas. You know, I got to say, I'm about 20 years late, but I want to say my apologies that your vacation actually got cut a little short, man. But if you really think about it, it's definitely definitely kind of an eye opener, and I'm kind of happy that you guys actually made it back to Texas in time.
Yeah, but you know, I'm from Newark, so I was right across the bridge, so I'd have been home either way.
Hey, but at least there's the things called hotels for your friends. You know what I mean? At least they have hotels.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. My family would love if I would have had to stay. So.
And also as well, man, June 29th of 2020, you actually released another phenomenal project, a 9-track album titled Love's Paradox. I was wondering if you can actually tell our listeners a bit more about this particular project. And of course, do you have any hard copies available for the listeners that do still love the hard copies?
Well, I don't, you know, I'm in the process of doing some vinyl for it. You know, vinyl takes a long time to do, but, and I'm probably going to do some CDs too, but it's actually on my Bandcamp also. What happened was I've been working on a lot of rap records, and I'm an R&B guy. And I was like, man, and then there's nobody talking about love. They're just talking about having sex all the time. So I was like, man, let me get some of my friends who do R&B and produce some records, and we'll get them on there. So I got I got Santana B to do the intro from the radio, and then I got Debonair McNair, Jaguar Wright, Taylor Pace, Paula Renee, Nwambe's on there. I had a whole bunch of people on there, and I got a lot of Grammy-winning musicians on there: Jason Davis, the Great Stone Mecca. You know, Emmanuel Williams. I got a bunch of people on there, so I made it like a love album. And, you know, I call it, you know, just sit down with a glass of wine with your girl and do your thing.
I gotta say, man, you know, I've really enjoyed that record myself, man, because I love R&B, man. Sometimes some hardcore hip-hop is definitely the way to go, but sometimes, just like you said, man, you need that mood-settling music, man, you know what I mean? You need to set the mood, and sometimes some hardcore hip-hop isn't really gonna set the mood, especially for a lady.
Yeah, man, because, look, you can't go in there and play, you know, some cussing and trying to get with a girl. That ain't gonna cut it.
You need that Carlton Banks kind of music, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're gonna be by yourself. Yeah, man.
But also as well, man. Immediately following this interview, man, I'm actually gonna be playing one of your songs titled "Holla" featuring Two Scares, man. I was wondering, for the individuals that might not have had the opportunity to hear this phenomenal track, what can they expect from it when I play it here momentarily on the FM dial?
Well, Two Scars is a Nigerian recording artist that I befriended when I was working on Nwambe's project, Love Rashe. And his Two Scars, the manager, is very close with Nwambe. Her name is Tabia Yatunde. And Two Scars is on Nwambe's record. So I told him, I said, man, you know, I'm going to do a record for you, and I'm going to send it to you. So I did a Afrobeat record, and I sent it to him. I was expecting, you know, it to come back maybe 2 or 3 months later. Well, 3 days later, his vocals came back. So I had to rework the song. But it is a party anthem with Afrobeat style and you know, some hip hop tinges to it. But it's pretty dope though.
I gotta say, you gotta love those artists, man, that really actually, you know, get their work done in an absolutely timely fashion, man. You know, that work ethic, unfortunately, isn't really there very much anymore, especially with the new generation. But you always find some of those artists, man, that still have that old school work ethic.
Oh yeah, he's quick too, man. Plus he's really, really talented. So we're in the process of trying to get him over here so we can get him a full album done and get him back over there. Because that song did real good in Ghana and Nigeria. It did really well. It's still actually moving around right now.
And I gotta say that we're definitely gonna give Canada a taste of what this artist can do coming up here, man. Because I gotta say, I definitely listened to it and I love the song, man. It's definitely gonna be staying in rotation here on 97.7.
Thanks, man. We appreciate it. That song is jamming. It is jamming.
But I gotta ask, man, what is next for yourself, MouseQuake? Is there anything we happen to miss during this broadcast? Anything else you do still want to talk about or promote? Well, we still got you here live on the Canadian FM dial this evening.
Yeah, well, I'm actually working on Stone Mecca's new album right now, and we're doing some other stuff with some of his close partners. We're gonna probably do Javon Angel's project. I think it's called The Halo Effect. And Shoes' project, and I think we got a couple of Rakim Al-Jabbar projects coming out too. So, you know, I'm trying to work on my close friends. You know, the big boys don't need no help. It's the ones that need the help. That's what I'm working on.
And I gotta say as well, when you actually brought up Stone a few moments ago, I know the project is currently still in the works, but from what you're allowed to speak about, what can we expect from this project when it does release to the general public?
Some funk and soul, man. Stone is a rock guy, and he has rock tinges in all of his songs, and we put a little this, a little that in there. And most of the time, we're all playing live music, so everything you hear is going to be live musicians. So just say you got Jimi Hendrix with Ice Cube and Sly Stone all in the one.
It definitely sounds like an instant classic project. I'm definitely looking forward to getting my hands on that one.
I'll shoot you some sneak peeks tonight too of that too.
Hey man, I can't say no, man. If you're gonna send the sneak peeks, man, I cannot decline, man. I definitely got to accept that invitation.
Yeah. Yes, sir. I'm gonna take care of you.
But also, Quake, man, this is the time in the interview quickly that I give a chance for the individual that does slide into the radio station airwaves. Just a chance to give, like, shout-outs to whomever they want to give shout-outs to. but most of all, your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated on everything the legendary MouseQuake if they're not already doing so.
Yes, sir. Well, I got to give a shout out to the queen of the crib, my wife, Naka. Keeps me in line, you know, and, you know, that's how that goes. But my social media on everything is at MF MouseQuake. It's MouseQuake. And just so you know, MF does not stand for what you think it stands for. It stands for most famous.
And I gotta say, man, first and foremost, Mouse, thank you so much, man, for just taking the time out of your busy evening and sliding into the 97.7 FM airways, man. It definitely was an honor and most definitely a privilege to be able to chop it up with such an iconic, legendary musical producer like yourself, man. And hopefully down the line, we can make this happen again sometime soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. I'm humbled. I appreciate you even want to spend the time to talk to me. And I'm always listening to y'all up there, man. Y'all be playing that hip-hop that I like to hear.
Hey, man, that's what I like to hear as well, man. I always try my best to spin nothing but the best, man. There's way too much mumble and trap music out there. I'm not knocking anyone's hustle, but I lap that old school boom bap sound, man, and that's how we're gonna keep it down here in Canada.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate it too.
I appreciate you as well, man. Thank you so much for your time, and definitely have yourself a wonderful Thursday night, man.
You too, brother. Y'all be good up at T-Dot, man.
Hey, man, we most definitely will. Thank you so much, Quake.
All right, brother.